All right, guys, it's time for another DAO video, and let's get started just after the intro. Boom! Oh, oh, yeah. Let's go. Alrighty, so it is the moment, the big moment has come. The Decentraland DAO has finally seen an iteration. It's been all over the news, all over Twitter, all over the blog, all over the place. What is the big deal with this DAO? Well, the thing is, the whole idea around Decentraland was to create a community, a decentralized community where everyone would have a say. And the more skin in the game you have, the more say you should have in what is going to be happening within the project in the future. Now, the big problem was that with the high Ethereum fees, it literally became impossible to cast a vote for anything, especially if you had only a little bit of voting points available to you because maybe you own a land or two or three, or you have wrapped some mana. You wouldn't be able to vote really because the amount of voting percentage difference you would make with your volume would be just way too little to be relevant, but it would cost just as much as it would cost a whale. So basically, long story short, the DAO did not really work. But now, after a couple of months in development, and it definitely feels like months, but it's probably been only weeks, we have now moved this decentralized voting system onto a new framework which does not require gas fees. And I think the system is called Snapshot. And Decentraland just published a blog post on that, and you can see the blog post right here. I would definitely recommend you read this, at least this first blog post. But I know for a fact that most people are not gonna make the effort to come to the blog and to read through this relatively short blog post. Well, kind of short. So in today's video, I'm gonna go through that blog post with you together. And in the next videos, I'm going to take apart some of the components discussed here in this blog post, especially the wearables proposal and the grant proposal are two topics we absolutely need to cover very, very soon, but also a few more recent proposals by the community, which I will not touch on today or in this video, but we are going to come back to. And honestly, I think it is time to introduce a DAO Tuesday or something like that. Let's see, today it happens to be a Tuesday, and today it happens to be the first episode, so we might just go with it. Let's see about that. Well, enough of the talking. Let's get into the blog post. So the Decentraland Foundation has just released a new implementation of the DAO, which is more affordable, accessible, and useful for all members of the metaverse. Okay. So once again, mana and landholders will have the privilege of voting. I, for example, have 3 lands registered, so I will have 6,000 voting points. Now, that is not a whole lot. If you compare it to someone owning 100 lands, it will take a lot of me's to compete with that whale. All right, what do we have here? So everything starts at governance.decentraland.org. This is still Decentraland's governance hub from which proposals are created and voted. So in short, if you go to the Decentraland website and you click on the DAO link, you will come to a new interface, which is a little bit simpler, where you can read proposals by others and you can submit proposals. And we still have 4 different type of proposals we can submit. A node, most of you will never submit a node server, so we can safely ignore this for now. Point of interest, definitely something people are likely to use a lot right now because it is literally free to submit a proposal. Name bans, good to know, but yeah, and the poll, and I think this poll section here is probably the most important section. This is these are the actual proposals which will be voted on by the community and then submitted for the committee of currently, I believe, 3 people to execute this on the actual, on the actual DAO that works. I don't know if they actually have to use it with fees or not, but this was the original setup of the DAO, which will now be operated by the committee. So let's go back to the blog post, one thing at a time. On the backend, the new DAO uses Snapshot. So this is what we have just seen, a gasless voting platform to create proposals and to log votes. Okay. The proposals and votes are stored on IPFS, making results secure and easy to contest. Fair enough. Creating and voting on proposals happens fast with no expensive transaction fees. As we discussed, you no longer have to wrap your assets in order to participate. This is quite interesting. So you don't actually have to wrap your mana anymore to participate, and you don't have to register land to participate. This is quite helpful. That means it will automatically register your wallet's ownerships, and it will use it to assign voting points. The DAO looks at your total balance of land and mana at the moment a new proposal is created to determine how much your vote will be weighted for that particular proposal. Now that is interesting. It takes a snapshot at the moment the proposal is submitted, meaning that if you happen to buy 100 land after a proposal has been submitted, you probably will not be able to use it because it was outside of the snapshot, which is an interesting mechanic. And I think it's actually quite useful. You cannot go out there and buy up voting power just to participate in a vote. I think this is really important. This first release of the new DAO does not support mana on Matic and Polygon. Okay, so this is something that is still being worked on and it will be supported soon, but not just yet. So if you have assets on the Polygon ecosystem, you cannot use it for voting rights right now, but you will be soon. The DAO does take into account both unwrapped and wrapped mana. So if you have wrapped mana, there is no need to unwrap it to achieve the full weight of your vote. You can unwrap your mana at any time from the voting power tab in the DAO. So where is the voting power tab? It's right here. Okay, so here are my 6,000 voting points for my 3 lands. Got it. Aragon's tools are still being used to run Decentraland DAO smart contract. So this is the original system I was referring to. They call it Aragon. Fine. Proposal results with on-chain consequences are enacted with Aragon's client by DAO committee. So there are these 3 people that have been elected in the previous DAO that are currently translating the decisions on this snapshot version of the DAO onto the actual DAO. So good to know. Last but not least, the DAO has been redesigned to be easier to understand and easier to use. Expansive documentation has been added to help users, and the flow of creating proposals has been streamlined. Forum topics are automatically generated and linked to from the DAO. This is pretty cool. For every poll, helping to foster deeper and more productive debate within the community. I didn't know that. Okay, so basically if you submit a proposal, you will immediately have a corresponding forum thread. Before you actually had to go over there and create one, you actually had to create a discussion in the forum first before you could submit a proposal. But now it seems that it's been streamlined. And frankly speaking, let me quickly check how that looks on the forum. I'm doing this off screen. 1 second. So I'm going to forum.decentraland.org. And it does indeed look like that there is some sort of automation going on for each proposal submitted. So you actually, even for each location or point of interest submission, you have a forum post. So this is kind of new, and it really simplifies this whole manual process we had before. This is really interesting. Let's move on. So we're basically moving on to the community grants now. So one of the two most important topics right now within this DAO is the topic of how to distribute grants. So basically, Decentraland has a lot of funds available. Let me take a sip of coffee here. And those funds that are available and that will be available each year will need to be distributed in the community to create and build on projects that drive the growth of Decentraland. And there is now quite a lot of conversation on how to get this started, and Decentraland suggests to take it slow with relatively small grants, even though there is a lot of money available, just to prove the concept before moving on to more serious grants. And apparently, you can actually already vote on it now by clicking this link. So make sure to visit the blog post to find the link. And you can actually have a conversation about it on the forum. So if you're listening to this recording, and if you are interested in a decentralized framework in Decentraland, and if you would like to have a vote in what is going on, you should definitely be casting a vote on these two topics. And here are the links. Now, you do have to have land or mana to be eligible for this, and it cannot have been added to your wallet like now. It should have been prior to this vote having been submitted by the Decentraland team, right? So this is important. So there are a couple of explanations on how the community grants are supposed to be organized, and I definitely think it is, you have to go in there and read more on it, and I think we will cover it separately, but I just wanted to touch on it real quick. And then, okay, now they're discussing the different proposed grant categories: community stuff, content creator stuff, platform contributor, and gaming. Let's quickly have a look what this actually means. Community grants fund the creation of content of delivery of services intended to grow and educate the Decentraland community. Okay, so this could be YouTube channels, this could be Twitch channels, this could be all sorts of Discord educational stuff, website content, all sorts of content that educates people. I think this is an important category here, and I believe I'm sometimes part of that of that category. Content creator grants fund the creation of 3D and interactive content built for Decentraland virtual world. So this is pretty much for builders building stuff in Blender for Decentraland. This could be single high quality scenes or broader experiences deployed in world. Interesting. Platform contributor grants fund code contributions to any of Decentraland's open source repositories. These grants could help sponsor the addition of new features, improvements to existing code, or bug and vulnerability fixes. So this is for the developer guys. Don't know much about that, but if you add to the repository, if you make improvements, there could be some money waiting for you. Gaming grants exist to help sponsor the development of full-fledged video games built for Decentraland. I think this is self-explanatory. And the proposed grant tiers are subdivided in 3, 500 to 1,500 mana, 1,500 mana to 3,000, and 3,000 to 5,000. So these are not very big projects here. I mean, if you consider how much prize money some people won for a short video intro of 30 seconds, this would be tier 3 level. So this is really a baby step compared to what could have been. But I think if you join the conversation here, and here are again a couple of links to the proposal and to the forum. You will find out what the logic behind that is, and we will probably have a separate video recording on just on grants. I'm going to move over to the Wearables Curation Committee. So this is the next topic that seems to be an area of focus for us right now. We've been waiting for this wearables creation tool for a while now, and I think you should read the DAO proposal here and join the conversation in the forum, and there are the two links just here to figure out what the process is currently. I mean, let's read through this. The Decentraland Foundation is also excited to repost the proposal for a curation committee tasked with moderating submitted wearable collections in the upcoming Wearables editor. I'm tempted to click through here and to go read it, but I will cover this in a separate video, so let's not spend too much time on it. So, and then the final section here of this blog post, the evolution and the future of the DAO, which I like to call DAO. During the past 2 years, DAOs have taken the world of Ethereum by storm. With more and more communities springing up around various DeFi projects, it became clear that a safe and secure and decentralized way for mutual token holders to organize themselves and make decisions was needed. DAOs fit the bill perfectly. Blah, 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 blah. If you would like to read more on what DAO is and how powerful it is, please read this blog post in your own time. I will definitely leave this link in the description, and I will probably make a more detailed video now on the grants and Wearables Curation Committee proposals, guys. Thank you for joining in. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and to hit the like button to help me promote this channel to the rest of the Decentraland community who have not subscribed yet. All right, guys, talk to you in a bit. Bye.